Have you ever wondered how sentences are structured? Welcome to the intriguing world of sentences. Language, at its core, is all about effective communication. And a crucial part of that communication is the art of crafting sentences. Sentences are the building blocks of conversation, the vehicles of our thoughts, ideas, and emotions. They help us convey meaning, ask questions, express feelings, and give orders. Understanding sentence structure allows us to communicate clearly and effectively. Each sentence we utter or write has a specific structure, a blueprint, if you will, that includes different components. These components work together, like pieces of a puzzle, to form a complete picture, or in our case, a complete thought. In this video, we'll be breaking down these components, revealing the anatomy of sentences, and exploring how they function to create meaning. So buckle up for this linguistic journey as we start with the first key component of sentence structure. Stay tuned as we delve into the first key component, the subject. So what is a subject in a sentence, you might ask? Well, let's dive into it. The subject of a sentence is the person, place, thing, or idea that is doing or being something. You can find the subject of a sentence if you can find the verb. Ask the question, who or what verbs or verb phrases? Now, the answer to that question is the subject. Let's take a look at a few examples to clear things up. Consider the sentence, "The quick brown fox jumps over the lazy dog." In this sentence, the quick brown fox is the subject because it's the fox that's doing the action, which is jumping. Another example could be, "The cake is delicious." Here, the cake is the subject as it's the cake that is delicious. However, it's not always this straightforward. Subjects can be more than one word and can appear in different parts of a sentence. For instance, in the sentence, "In my dreams, unicorns are real." The subject is unicorns. Even though it's not at the beginning of the sentence, it's still the unicorns that are real. Subjects can also be more complex, involving entire phrases. Take the sentence, "What you said yesterday really surprised me." In this case, what you said yesterday is the subject because that's what surprised me. Subjects aren't always tangible entities either. In the sentence, "Honesty is the best policy," the subject is honesty, an abstract concept. So you see, the subject of a sentence can take many forms, but it's always the doer or the beer of the action. It's the central figure that the sentence is all about. It sets the stage for the rest of the sentence, giving us a clue about what's going on and who's involved. Remember, the subject is the main actor in your sentence. Up next, we'll talk about what this actor is doing, the predicate. Now that we know who or what is the focus, what exactly are they doing? This is where predicates come in. Picture this: if sentences were a movie, the subject would be the leading actor and the predicate would be the plot, the action, drama, or event happening to the subject. A predicate, in the simplest terms, is what the subject is doing or what is happening to the subject. It's the verb and the words that follow, providing us with more information about the subject's actions or state. Let's dive into some examples to make this clearer. Take the sentence, "The cat sleeps on the sofa." Here, sleeps on the sofa is the predicate. It tells us what the cat, our subject, is doing and where it's happening. Now let's look at another sentence. John bought a new car. In this case, bought a new car is our predicate. It gives us the action that John, our subject, is performing, along with additional information about that action. Predicates can also express a state or condition. For instance, in the sentence, "The flowers are beautiful is the predicate. It's not an action, but it informs us about the state or condition of the flowers, our subject. You might also come across sentences where the predicate is simply a linking verb. For example, in "She is a teacher" is the predicate. It links the subject she to additional information about her identity or role. Remember, a sentence isn't complete without a predicate. It's the action, the drama, the event, or the condition that brings life to our subject, making our sentence meaningful and interesting. So, the predicate gives us the action or a state of our subject. Next, we'll explore the building blocks of sentences, clauses, and phrases. Sentences aren't just about subjects and predicates. They're built with smaller blocks known as clauses and phrases. Let's start with clauses. A clause is a group of related words that contains a subject and a predicate. For instance, in the sentence, "Jane loves to read because she appreciates the power of words," there are two clauses. Jane loves to read and she appreciates the power of words. Each clause has its own subject and predicate, and they're linked together to make a more complex thought. Now let's move on to phrases. Phrases are also groups of related words, but they lack either a subject, a predicate, or both. Take the sentence, "Running quickly, she reached the station in time." Here, running quickly is a phrase. It doesn't have a subject or a predicate of its own, but it adds extra information to the main clause. She reached the station in time. So, what's the difference between a clause and a phrase? Well, the key difference lies in the presence of a subject and a predicate. A clause has both, while a phrase lacks at least one. This difference is crucial because it dictates how each one functions in a sentence. Clauses, with their subjects and predicates, can stand alone as complete thoughts. Phrases, on the other hand, can't. They're like supporting actors, adding depth and detail to the main action. Think of clauses and phrases as the building blocks of sentences. Just like you can't construct a building with only bricks or only mortar, you can't construct a sentence with only clauses or only phrases. You need both. They work together, with clauses providing the structure and phrases filling in the gaps, to create sentences that are informative, engaging, and grammatically correct. Clauses and phrases are like the bricks and mortar of our sentence, our last stop, the different types of sentences. Just like in life, variety is key in sentence structure. Let's talk about the different types of sentences. There are 4 main types of sentences in the English language, each with its own unique purpose. They are declarative, interrogative, imperative, and exclamatory sentences. First up, we have declarative sentences. These are the most common type of sentence, and they're used to make a statement or express an opinion. Think of them as the bread and butter of your everyday conversations. For example, "The sky is blue," or "I love reading books." They're simple, straightforward, and give information or express what the speaker believes to be true. Next, we have interrogative sentences. These are the questions of our language, used to inquire or find out information. They usually start with words like who, what, where, when, why, or how. An example would be, "How are you doing today?" or "Where's the nearest library?" Interrogative sentences keep the conversation going. They're the curious cats of the sentence world. Thirdly, we have imperative sentences. These are used to give orders, instructions, or express requests. They usually omit the subject and start directly with the verb. For example, "Close the door," or "Please pass the salt." Imperative sentences are the bosses of the sentence world. They tell us what to do. Lastly, we have exclamatory sentences. These are the drama queens of the sentence world, expressing strong emotion or surprise. They often end with an exclamation mark. For example, "What a beautiful sunset," or "I can't believe it." These sentences add emotion and intensity to our language. Each type of sentence has its own role to play, and using a mix of them can make your speech or writing more interesting and dynamic. It's like cooking a dish. You need different ingredients to make it flavorful and satisfying. And there you have it. The different types of sentences add flavor to our conversations and writings. Let's take a moment to recap what we've learned about sentence structure. We started by understanding that subjects are the heroes of our sentences, the who or what that the sentence is about. Then we moved on to predicates, which tell us what's happening, what action the subject is performing, or what state it's in. We also delved into the building blocks of sentences, the clauses and phrases. Clauses, remember, have a subject and a predicate and can stand alone as a complete thought. Phrases, on the other hand, cannot stand alone and add extra detail to our sentences. Lastly, we explored the variety of sentence types, from simple to complex, each with its own unique structure and purpose. Next time you write or speak, remember these components and watch how your communication becomes clearer and more engaging. Until next time.